We're getting ready to go live, my friends. I'm just getting us set on all of the platforms so that everybody can hear from the amazing Dr. Danny Knowles. There we go. We are officially live, y'all. Hi, Danny.
Hey there. Good morning.
So if you don't know Danny Knowles, come out from under the rock. Danny and I went to school together 25, 30. I think I met you officially 33 years ago at a New Beginnings.
Let's just go with 33 because it's a
Let's
good
go
number.
with 33 because it's the number. And we journeyed through Sherman College together, and I've always known that you were going to change the face of the profession, actually the entire body of the profession of chiropractic. And not only that, but serve as a mentor and a leader for how you can start and just go with a vision. So with that being said, Danny, who are you? Where are you? What do you do?
Well, I'm glad you knew that because I didn't know that. So
I knew that.
So then you knew it before me. And I appreciate the kind words. Who am I? I'm Danny. So I'm a chiropractor in Boulder, and I love my family, and I teach network spinal, and I'm a second generation chiropractor. Donnie Epstein and Jackie Knowles. Donnie Epstein's my stepdad, Jackie's my mom, and have been in the chiropractic crucible longer than I realized. So, and I practice Boulder Network Wellness Center, run the network spinal teaching programs, and have served on the Sherman College of Chiropractic Board of Trustees and many other areas and mentor people in lifetime wellness practice. And I'm glad to be here with my wife, Rochelle. She's joining us here too. So, and I think that's good for
that's a good intro.
Me. Yeah.
I met Donnie and Jackie, for that matter, when I was 20. So that was 32 years ago. And it changed my life. My first network adjustment was with Jeff Bueno. And I always say it turned my world from black and white to color. And I've been on this journey ever since. So tell us why chiropractic? What is it about chiropractic that you love so much?
Well, first of all, I'm really glad that people are joining us live, whatever channels we are. And I'm going to say that wherever you are watching or listening to, make sure you follow and engage and hit subscribe on whatever Jodi has, so you never miss anything from Jodi.
I'm supposed to say that, aren't I, Danny?
I'm saying it. So, and the second thing is I'm really grateful to see Jodi grow and contribute into helping people impact more lives. And I know that's always been in her heart. I will say, why chiropractic? Well, chiropractic is the greatest healing art in the history of the planet, as far as I'm concerned. Truly, it is really incredible. It turned my life around and is the greatest gift that I've ever received, and in so many ways. And, when something has given so much to you, you are, driven to give back to it. So, and there's a biblical reference to that in somewhere. Something has given you so much, you give back to it. But chiropractic changes spines, lives, and minds around the world, and has been. It's the greatest healing art that has been in terms of children, adults, people before they're born impacted. When I first read D.D. Palmer, something stood out in the first things I read of his, and he said about how chiropractic is changing people and also making them be able to be more recognized by their creator in the next life. And I thought that was so incredible to even think of that. So that's why chiropractic. It not only changes you in this plane, but it changes you in the next one.
So for those people listening to us who are like, well, I thought chiropractic was for people with back pain.
Why would people think that at this point? Oh, wait. Why do people think that? And why would they listen to this if they think that? They can't possibly think that. Why would someone think that?
I have no idea.
That's the most ridiculous statement to think that chiropractic is about back pain. If people think it's about back pain, then you completely missed what the nerve system does.
Tell us more.
Well, if people think chiropractic is about back pain, then you didn't learn about the nerve system when you were in grammar school. Like it is this much to do with pain. All right. So for the people that think it's about back pain, like, well, go back and open an anatomy book. It has nothing to do with pain. It has to do with your experience of your life and your world. So the chiropractic care is really a conduit to you have a greater bandwidth to process energy and information and to process your conscious reality with a different energy state and different reality. And that when there's a less healthy nerve system, you have less bandwidth. So basically, if you want to live your life with a body that's having a flip phone level ability to process bandwidth, then don't get chiropractic. But if you want to have more than the nerve system possibility to have like not even a flip phone, like whatever, an old rotary phone. If you want more than that out of your body,
you do this with the pen.
Yeah. Right? Do you do that?
No, I don't do it anymore, but I do have a toy phone in my office that does that.
Oh, okay.
And it's like it's the greatest hit with the kids. You know, a lot of people knock on my practice door saying it hurts here and it hurts there. And I say, well, that's really cool. It means you're alive. Right? Mm-hmm. And that's when we don't have any symptoms, when we're not living anymore. And as long as we're alive, we're going to have expressions and we're going to have signals in our body. And chiropractic is making sure that our lenses are clear, like making sure we've got the right glasses on so that we can move through the world with our antenna up, right? So when I come to Mile High, because I do want to talk about Mile High, when I come to Mile High, I look around the room and I am amongst people who are healthy and of abundance and joyful. They're laughing. They're upbeat. The energy is alive. Tell me tell us what Mile High is and why is Mile High happening?
Okay, so first of all, because Mile High is a great state, Colorado. Why wouldn't you want to be in Colorado? So, there's Mile High Stadium, there's Mile High Sports, all kinds of. Mile High Chiropractic Movement is a Mile High weekend in the state of Colorado for chiropractors that know that chiropractic is more. And it's for them, their families, their teams. And why Mile High is if you have a consciousness around chiropractic that it's more than something going away that you don't like. If you have in your heart and soul and spirit that somehow chiropractic is having a greater life experience, if you know that, then you are part of the Mile High family and you just have to get there. Okay, so Mile High is a chiropractic movement weekend that I did not know I was going to be doing or founding by any means. It was a way to support Sherman College initially, but it became really a home for chiropractors and their teams that want to be really have an experience of being in a vessel, of being around other chiropractors, chiropractic families, presenters, exhibitors that have that whole value system and those foundational values and foundational principles in their soul. Mm-hmm. So those people, chiropractors thrive as practitioners thrive in community. We tend to be in our offices, in the four walls of our office, sharing something that's profound. And at times that can be a lot. It can be a lot for us and can feel like, nobody understands what it is that we do. And being around other chiropractors lights you up. It fuels you thriving more. And what I hear over and over again is what people love about Mile High. They love the speakers. They love the content. They love how much they learn, but they love the people. They love being around, like you referenced there, they love being around other practitioners. So they really, it lights a spark in their soul for what it is that they're doing. Well, the spark was already there, but it inflames it, okay? So that they can really be more empowered. Most chiropractors are pretty darn empowered, but even more empowered to change lives, minds, and spines in their offices.
So what do you say to the guy in Tucson, Arizona, who's trying to meet rent every month, and he went to Sherman 20 years ago, and he's just drowning in bills, and his staff just quit? These are the people that I speak to on a weekly basis. His staff just quit. He's 50 pounds overweight. His wife left him. And he's like, if you want me to get on a plane and spend $1,000 to travel, you've got to be crazy. What do you say to that person?
Well, first of all, I've met a lot of those people, and I still do. Mm-hmm. And so here's the thing, all of that situation is about you. It really is. I'm not going to see the person. I speak to those kinds of people all day, and they're not, they're wonderful souls that found something in a calling. You got to live a life worthy of that calling. Okay, you had a calling, something lit to become a chiropractor, and if you have the most powerful healing art in your hands in the history of the planet, and you're having the kinds of challenges that Jodi just outlined, don't look at the healing art. Look at yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror. And there's things of how you have to show up differently. And yes, you invested prereqs, chiropractic school, boards, setting up a practice, and you could go on and on the list, right? And if you invested that and somehow you're not living a life worthy of the calling to do the things that Dr. Jodi just outlined, then you have to look at yourself. And if you're going to uplift yourself to live a life worthy of calling, be around other people that are doing that. I had the experience that you're talking about. And it was right when I was setting up a practice in Spartanburg, my first practice. And I set the signed, and I didn't really have a business plan. Business plan was I, had $1,000 in my bank account. I had some posters and some tables, and I just
had a kick-ass cleaning lady.
I had to just adjust enough people to be able to pay that $1,000 in the rent. That was the business plan, which was not really a good business plan. And I remember laying on the floor crying because I didn't have enough money to pay for things. And people saying, I just thought I'd tell them about chiropractic and Harvey Lillard, and somehow, they would say, this is a most amazing thing, and I will give you my money and bring my family. I thought that was how it worked, and I found out quickly that didn't. And I called Donnie Epstein, my stepdad, and I was in tears, and what do I do? And he asked me something. And this is how clueless I was. He asked me, who should be the wealthiest doctor in Spartanburg? And my answer, as clueless as I was, I don't know. Who are they? Do I need to meet them to learn something? He's like, Danny, you're not listening to me. Who should be the wealthiest doctor? And he was asking, meaning you should be, right? You should be the wealthiest doctor in your town. You have the most valuable service that nobody delivers. And if you're not making money, you're not having self-value for what it is that you do. No one should be wealthier in your town than you as a doctor.
And Mike, okay? I make a joke because when Danny opened his practice, I was still in school, and I went and I cleaned his office, and because I wanted to get adjusted by him, and I would do whatever I needed to.
And she was doing front desk for me.
And Michelle was doing front desk. But my point is that you had all of the things that you needed. You had a cleaning person, you had a front desk person, and it might have not been in the commodity of money exchange, but I really, really, my experience has been if I'm on point and I'm connected to my sacred truth of being a chiropractor to make the world better, that's really what I do when I go to my office. Everything will show up as I need it to be. If it's not showing up, I'm somehow misaligned from my truth. And my experience is when I come to Mile High, even when I get adjusted by you or somebody who is just in line with the principle of chiropractic, I reconnect with that. And that's why I need to be at experiences like Mile High. I want to pivot and I want to talk about lifetime wellness practice. Can you tell us what that is?
Well, that's a perfect pivot to what you said, because I'm sorry. I know you're the host, and I apologize in advance. I'm gonna have to disagree with you, because
Okay.
I don't agree with just because you know your truth, you're going to be successful. In fact, there's lots of people that do that and know the value of chiropractic, but they're drowning, like you said,
Right.
and that's not enough. So unfortunately, so you have to have ways to communicate, have systems, and that has to all be alignment to lead you towards that. And so fast forward of that experience and going through lots of pain and lots of errors and lots of not running my office very well. I remember when we bought the house that I'm in right now, and it's a really nice home, and we worked our butts off to have the money to be able to move in. And I remember when we were moving in, okay, and unloading the van, this person came up and said, "Hey, good to meet you. My name is this." It was a neighbor, like wanting to welcome us to the neighborhood. And he introduces himself, and he's a medical doctor. And like it's a expensive area that we're in. And he's a medical doctor. He says, say hello. And they say, "Oh, good to meet you." And he says, "What do you do?" And he said, and we have the nicest house on the block, like the most expensive, the nicest house on this block. And I said, "Well, I'm a chiropractor." And I just kind of said it like that. And he looked at me, and he looked at the house, and he looked at me, and he said, "Wow, the chiropractic business might be pretty good. Must be pretty good." And I flashed back to Donnie saying that to me. Okay. And I was like, "Oh yeah, guess what? It is pretty darn good, but it didn't happen overnight. And it happened because I stopped doing a whole lot of things that really didn't align towards that outcome of living life worthy of that calling, and coordinating practice in a certain way to have more people on more tables more often and give more to them, and being able to charge a high fee for our care and see people long term and move them on a path to lifetime wellness practice." So that's what lifetime wellness practice is. Truly, I want to see only the people that will pay a high amount of money, that will be coming for us a long time, and they're going to see us for weeks, months, years. I do not want to see the other people. And I had to get that straight in my head. I had to realize that there's more people in my town than I can possibly take care of. And we deliver a specialty service. Look, Ben & Jerry's ice cream decided not to be generic ice cream. They decided to sell the pint of ice cream with stuff in it, and it was to be 4 times the price of ice cream in the store, which means there are certain people that are not going to buy it. And I don't mean to be cold. I realized that at all. I realized I didn't like people coming in for 2 or 3 visits and stopping, or coming in for a couple weeks of care. I did not want to do that. That was painful. Other thing that's painful in practice was people not getting the bigger gift that chiropractic is. Like if they would only have short-term care, that was worse or more pain or more distress than them them not starting care. I'd rather them not start care and go to another chiropractor than try care for a few weeks, right, or something like that, and say I'm out of pain and I'm stopping. I'd rather just not get care. Do people like start to have a little bit of surgery to see if they like it?
They dive in. And they abandon their doubts, and they show up for it. So what do you say to the chiropractors who aren't there? How do they step into what you're saying with 1% each. I love the concept of I'm not a 1%er. I'm 100% or nothing. It's just, I was born that way, but not everybody's that way. So if you're talking right now to a chiropractor or a PT or an ND, whoever is listening to us, and they're like, I get what he's saying, but I'm so not there. What's the 1% step that they can take to get to move into that direction?
Yeah, decide to value what you do and value yourself, because you're not valuing what you do.
That's it.
That's it. You're not valuing what you do and the gift that you're giving people, and you're playing small. So you can continue to play small. You'll have a lot more pain if you do 10 years, 20 years down the road. You have to decide to value what it is that you do and realize that there's only so many people that will come in and that you could take care of. Like if everybody woke up and heard this podcast and said, oh my God, Danny is right. It's the most powerful healing art on the planet. I've got to find a chiropractor and go to whoever they are. You couldn't take care of them. I don't care. Like the chiropractic profession could not take care of them, right? You would be in trouble. If you were at a baseball stadium and looked around and said, how long would it take me to count and to adjust all those people? I just counted, there's this many people. How many hours may adjust all of them one time? You couldn't do it. So you have to realize there's so many people that need what you do. You have such a valuable service that you can't. So take care of the people that will prioritize seeing you. Have an objective outcome. I think one of the biggest mistakes is not having some kind of objective outcome that people can see what's going on with them, and then reassessing what they are. If you want just adjusting people by hand and not assessing them is one of the biggest mistakes chiropractors make. And just borrow the money, do what you have to do to get some kind of thing that people can see. I don't care what it is, but something that people can. I used to use a Polaroid in my office and take pictures and draw lines on it so people can see this is how they were. You remember that. Yeah. That's all the money I had. Do something that people can see. This is what's going on in my body, and then reassessing it so people can see what changes. It's one of the most vital things. If people that don't do that, find a way. Get a Polaroid camera. Get Posture Pro and put it on your. There's a Posture Pro app of some kind.
And you guys, that might be your 1%. Like that, I need to have okay, give me an example. Give me something to chew on. And I think about the analogy of you're not going to get up at bat in a baseball game and not know which base you're running towards. You have to know which base you're running towards. And I love the real life examples of this is literally how you do it. Go buy a Polaroid and before and after, and that costs less than $100. And that's going to take your practice so far. So I
will tell you, one of the things that's most impactful, and it blows my freaking mind, all right? I'm a New Yorker, so I brought down the language, okay? It blew my mind that people get more impacted as patients by bilateral weight scales. Go to Target, get 2 weight scales. They get blown away that their weight balance is off. And I don't know, you can afford a Target weight scale. All right.
I go to the agita of having to get on a scale in front of somebody. I don't know, man.
But they use 2 scales as a different thing because it doesn't have the same agita. Because they're okay,
it's bilateral agita.
But look, I was at a baseball game and I was buying a hot dog. I know it's not healthy, but on a baseball game, I'm getting a hot dog. Okay? So I was buying a hot dog, and the person I was buying a hot dog from looked at me and said, "Hey, Danny." I was like, "Huh?" And it was a chiropractor. They were selling the hot dogs at the baseball game because they were not succeeding in practice, and they were doing that. And they introduced themselves, and that's sad. And I know people that they were bartenders instead of being chiropractors and things like that because it's
more common than not.
It's more common. And I'm not trying to say they're bad people. It's sad. It's a tragedy. You have the most powerful healing on the history of the planet. You have to decide that, hey, this is the most valuable gift. I'm not doing this to get something. Visualize that I have in my hands, I'm giving out a gift. Christmas morning. If you ever experience or another holiday, at Christmas morning when you're an adult, all right, you'll sit there and you'll be I just want to see the eyes of the other people opening the gift I'm giving. Like, you got me something, I don't even care. I just want to see
like every day
your expression, and that's what your office. You have to have the energy of like, I'm giving out Christmas gifts, not what I'm getting. But when you have like in front of you what I have to get, people pick up on that. You have to put what you're getting behind you and the giving out in front.
It's the certain, and I'm going back to my point.
Mm-hmm.
My point is that as long as you have those lenses on, in my experience, the next piece keeps showing up. You're going to have the people show up that you need. You had the front desk person and the office cleaner. Everybody is going to show up one thing at a time, one piece at a time, as long as you have the right lenses on, as long as you are on the path. That has been absolutely beyond a doubt my experience in practice, in life, in sobriety, in marriage. As long as I'm taking the next right step, I'm going to have what I need to get there. And I know that's true for me.
One of the biggest changes that brought revenue, there's a handful of changes. So Lifetime Wellness Practice, lifetimewellnesspractice.com, LWP Inner Circle is an inner circle that I mentor people. It's a membership. But then there's a lowest end that's a DIY. Then there's a group mentoring, and then there's one-to-one mentoring for a lifetime. If you want to go towards an abundant life and practice that people are paying you high dollar and staying in for long term and bringing families, hook up with Lifetime Wellness Practice, and the lowest rung is lwpinnercircle.com. If you want to go mentoring myself and Rochelle, we only take a small number of people because we don't get on the phone with people, so many people. That's our one-to-one mentoring. We don't take just anybody. You have to apply to be in that, and there's an application. But here's the thing. There's a handful, like I could count them on one hand, of things that when I did this step, my income jumped up a lot. Okay. I mean, made a significant jump. And one of those was raising the bar and the recommendation, going from a per visit or a weekly fee, but recommending a larger amount of care and holding my ground to like, well, if you want to start care with us, it's going to be this many months, or don't start care. We had the same number of people converted, but we had more money.
Right.
The same number of people started care, okay, percentage wise, but we had more money because people were paying more, and then they were staying longer, which meant I was more certain because they were getting the bigger gift of what chiropractic is, right? They got the bigger gift. Even any chiropractic adjustment is a gift, okay? Mm-hmm. But one or two or a week or a month worth is going to have a different impact on their body than 5 years worth, okay, in terms of or their life, all right? Even just a touch of a chiropractic adjustment, yes, changes their life, yet if they're care consistently for a year or for 6 months, or they bring their family and their spouse, and deciding that's the level I'm playing at, and I don't really want to take care of the other people, that made it's one of the things that I'm like, when I decided that was the case, and I was scared to, right? But when I decided that was one of the things that made the biggest jump. And you have to decide, like, look, I want to sell the more expensive ice cream. I want to do the Ben & Jerry's. I don't want to get the generic Safeway brand.
I love it. We're out of time. I can't believe it. You might have to come back.
Well, I can keep going.
We can't. I can't. So here's my question. I love ending with this question because not everybody who's watching knows what we're doing here at Staffless Practice. If someone was going to knock on your door and say, "Hey, Danny, I hear that Dr. Jodi's doing this cool thing with Staffless Practice, the practice suite. I'm not quite sure. What's your opinion on it?" What would you say to them?
I'm not sure on it. That's what you're saying? Like, Jodi's doing a great thing.
Jodi's doing these things with Staffless Practice. What do you think? Is it something I want to lean into?
Well, what I would say is that anything that Jodi's doing, you want to be around.
That's sweet.
You want to be in her field. That's what I would say. So, and that is that fear and lack of, I'm not going to take that step. It's the same thing as dating. Like, you can say, I really like that guy or girl and I want to ask them out, but I'm afraid to. Well, then you're never going to know. Like, you have to at some point say, hey, you know what? I'd like to dance with you. Or let's get a cup of coffee. And if you don't do that, you'll never know. So if Jodi's doing something, this is why I knew she asked me to be on this. I said, well, I want to be around anything that Jodi does. So I'm going to be there. So it's the same thing.
That's sweet, Danny. Thank you.
If Jodi didn't ask, then that's not going to happen. So you have to decide that in things in your life.
I made a commitment to show up on social media once a week until Mile High and share why I'm excited about it. So look for me on social media. There we go, my friend.
Did you see my picture this morning?
I didn't. I've been getting ready for this podcast. I really have to go, Danny.
Well, I just want to say that I got a haircut for this, and you'll see the picture. So.
Your hair is looking really sharp. I was going to make a statement about it. I wasn't sure if it would be appropriate.
All right, you got to go, but I'm going to tell you and everybody, look up what the white buffalo means. Look up what a white buffalo means. There's a meaning. Do
you want to share it? You want to take 30
No, I want people to look it up. Just Google is quick, or ChatGPT. Look at the legend of the white buffalo. And chiropractors, you're a white buffalo.
And wherever you're watching this, go make the world better with great care and know that we love you and see you at Mile High. Thanks, guys.